Okay, we'll resume with the committee of the whole meeting. I would ask you to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now, as a start to this evening, I'm going to ask our borough manager to give us the rules for this evening.
Sure. Just a couple housekeeping items. Obviously, we're requesting that everyone in the building wears a mask unless you're speaking or addressing council. And also, just an update on the public comment format. You will be able to make a public comment by signing in to the meeting in person here or by sending us a chat request through GoToMeeting when we get to the public comment portion of the meeting. And also just a reminder to avoid any audio feedback, please do not access the meeting while in person in this room so that everything will go a little more smooth.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Subcommittee reports, anything from infrastructure? No additions? Economic development and our business liaison, Peggy Lee.
It's nice to be here in person. Good evening, Madam Mayor, councilors, President Wayne. Good to see you all. So Rivet opened up over the weekend. It is a special event space in 228 East High Street. There will be things like comedy shows. People will be able to rent out the space. So it is where the former church was, in the back of the building. It's a beautiful space. I encourage you all to go check it out. There's also a coffee shop. I had a great cup of coffee from there, the Forge. That's in the front of the building at 228. So they are open with a coffee shop, and they will be offering things like muffins and breakfast sandwiches. But Barrister's was a delicious bagel this morning too. So they're right near each other. You can get coffee and bagels in the downtown. The car show, of course, was a great success. Once again, lots of people in. We're hearing great feedback from people outside of the area. They're very impressed with all of what Pottstown has to offer. The other thing I'd like to offer today is we're seeing more and more people that are in the manufacturing tenancy world. We're getting a lot of inquiries, and we're getting close to a couple of manufacturers. One that has robotics that creates rebar. They will be employing around 20 people to start, with a growth potential of 40 people within the next 2 years. There's also a group that is looking at another property to rent, recently vacated by one particular business. This would be a business that would, they upcycle vehicles, and what they do is, in certain parts, in other parts of the country, what they do is they build the shelving units that go into the Amazon vans, which are so prolific in the area. They would not be doing this. They would be doing fiberglass work for retrofitting ambulances in this area if it comes to pass. So they're very interested in Pottstown, and we've been talking to them, and we hope that is something that they will also. But overall, I just use those two examples because there are a lot of serious inquiries, and I think that we are going to continue to see that interest. Last thing, we will be coming next month to make formal application for Fête en Blanc for, again, this year. So we will be launching that website hopefully sometime next week. We hope to be able to seat 500 people. We are looking at alternatives rather than long tables, and we think that it will be a great event and it won't dare rain. We're looking at September 10th, but we will come back next month with formal application for your consideration. That's it.
Good,
Thanks.
thank you. Okay, let us go back to the first one, infrastructure. You have Mike Lenhart on.
Yes, so we have our Parks and Recreation Director, Mike Lenhart, that's going to come in and provide some good news on the grant front and some of the infrastructure improvements that are going into the park. So Michael, I will, when you're ready, I'll allow you to share your screen.
Sure thing, and that'll just be for the newsletter bit. But
Great.
thank you for the opportunity to speak. About once a year, we like to Parks and Rec check in the context of the infrastructure section to talk about some of the things that are happening. We had a significant amount of good news to share this time around when we compiled the report, so we thought it'd be nice to put it to you in person. So I'll run through this. I'll try not to take too long. Wanted to note that the powwow in Manatawny Creek was held the 1st and 2nd of May in Riverfront Park with great success. This was really the first event we saw in the parks with a return to somewhat normal operation as some of the COVID restrictions were lifted. There were some restrictions in place. Those rules were observed, but we were very impressed with the number of visitors we had. They estimated between 800 and 1,000 visitors over the course of 2 days each day. So that's a total of almost 2,000 people through that event, which is an all-time high for us. And we saw 30 plus Native American nations represented at that. So we were very proud. Also happy to note the Rumble will be returning to Memorial Park June 25th to the 27th. So mark your calendars for that. And I'm sure that you saw that 4th of July celebrations will be commencing both in Memorial Park as well as downtown. Moving on to some of the facility things we have going on. One more note on programming. We are fortunate to have Summer Adventure Camp returning to the school districts for the season. So we thank the school district for opening Lincoln School to us. So we're excited to have that program back in operation in more of what we consider to be a normal way, so we can accommodate more youth in that program. Big news, I think, has been announced once already, but I'll gladly announce it again. The borough was awarded $200,000 from Monco 2040, and that is for the Memorial Park Stream Bank Stabilization and Bridge Project. So this is a major piece of funding for sort of 3 prongs of attack for that project. The other ones being DCNR and the Commonwealth Financing Authority. So both those applications are submitted, but this is an excellent start for us. So this is very big news to know that we have the $200,000 that we can pretty much cover the basic scope of the project and really expand from there to make sure that we can take the full complement of service to the stream bank there to have a reconnection through the park that's going to last. Another bridge that's being worked on right now is stream bank stabilization in Riverfront Park. This is above and below the pedestrian bridge that carries the Schuylkill River Trail across the Manatawny Creek. We currently have Land Studies LLC working on design for that and going to go right into stream bank stabilization with some open space funds this summer. And that's going to preserve the pedestrian connection across the bridge. It's going to armor the embankment about 100 feet above, 50 feet below the abutment so that we don't lose that key piece of infrastructure in Riverfront Park. So excited to see that taking place. And we have an application being worked on to Healing the Planet, which is a foundation set up by the Giant Corporation. We're confident that we can get some funding from that towards the overall project. Update, Pottstown Park will be opening this month. Pottstown Park, there's been a misconception that Pottstown Park has been closed throughout the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, in fact, it's been improved with funds gathered from Pottstown Area Health and Wellness, PMRPC, as well as the Walmart Foundation, sponsored by our local Walmart. So with those funds through 2020, we were able to replace the playground equipment, update ADA access, and get funds for new basketball standards and surfacing there. The playground and ADA access is completed. The court resurfacing and hoops and standards installation is happening this week and next. So we're expecting that facility to open up by the end of the month. We're very excited about that. That's our only park on that side of Route 100. So it's a pretty key location. We're happy to have it back up and running this month with major upgrades for longevity. Spruce Street basketball courts, as some folks might know, has been the focus of an ongoing project. We were successful in gathering funds from Pottstown Area Health and Wellness to rehab basketball courts there. We're waiting on a second piece of funding, which would be through PMRPC. That's not going to open up until later this year, so we wouldn't be seeing that money until 2022, assuming a successful application. Not wanting to wait that long to get some basketball play restored there, we will be installing new hoops and standards on one of the two courts at that location, so we have some operation during the summer season. The surface of the other side of the court is somewhat questionable, and it's we're looking to get, in the context of this project, some understanding of whether it makes sense to tear out or to resurface or to address spots. But that's going to take some time to gather those quotes and second opinions. So in the meantime, we will be bringing play back to one of the two courts with some new equipment. Let's see, we've had some success gathering funds to address damage to the Memorial Park playground. This was caused by the 2020 flooding that ruined the port-in-place safety surface. The equipment is fine. So we've managed to raise $7,000 so far from local sources, as well as $600 through fundraising, with an ultimate idea that we can relocate that equipment and reinstall it at a location that's not as prone to damage from flooding towards that type of surfacing. So preparations for that to take place in the summer are well underway. We received $125,000 from the Commonwealth Financing Authority, and this is to be directed towards Sunstrom Field. This is through the sponsorship of Tim Hennessy and Bob Mensch. They both saw the facility, saw some potential there, and we were able to align funding there. That's really going to address some of the issues at Sunstrom Field and bring it up to current snuff in terms of operation, repair some of the damage that's been caused by past floods, especially the 2019 and 2020 floods. One thing I'll add is Natural Lands Trust is currently working on a stewardship study for replanting plans in Riverfront Park. As you may know, a lot of those trees came down over the past year and a half. Those were ash trees affected by the emerald ash borer. So looking at reforestation at that location, we asked Natural Lands Trust to be participatory, and they're doing so with funding from a William Penn Foundation grant for that purpose. So we can look for that plan to come out in the next 2 months or so. One thing I'll add is Fountain View Spray Park is operational as of June 4th on its regular schedule, so we're very grateful to the staff that put that together for this season and happy to be able to have that operational when last year it was not operational at all due to the pandemic. That's it for the quick report on infrastructure. Thank you for your time. I did want to make a note that the Borough newsletter has been published. That was last week. Want to do a reminder of how you can access that because it was formerly the Parks and Recreation newsletter. We now consider it to be the broader Borough newsletter. And let's see, I'm hoping that you can see my screen here. So in order to access the newsletter, you go to www.pottstown.org. We should all be familiar with this. And because it was formerly the Parks and Recreation newsletter, you do find it posted primarily under the Parks and Rec tab under Departments, Parks and Rec, and the newsletter. And you will find our information-packed, full-color, digital with links-enabled Borough newsletter. So again, it's not just for Parks and Recreation anymore. We have all the typical information you would find in a Borough newsletter. You want to contact departments, contact your officials. We can run down here and see programs we have posted. Of course, we do give Parks and Recreation prominence since we compile it for you guys. But that is really the one-stop shop to get a lot of information. It's very important for you to know about it. And one more thing to note is that if you want to sign up for notifications so that you know when a new issue is posted, again, you go to pottstown.org. You go to this icon over here at the left, which says notify me. This will give you a variety of options to sign up for. You'll input your email address, and you can select any number of notifications, including boil water notices. But the third one down here is the Borough newsletter. you can get text message or email notification that a new issue is out there, and that really is the best way to keep abreast of what's going on in the borough. Okay, I hope that wasn't too long. I'm happy to turn it back over to you guys. Thank you for the opportunity to update you on all the great things going on in the borough, including the Parks and Rec Department.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could I just say one thing? I just want to thank you. I had somebody reach out to you about Potts Park, and they went back on Facebook and said what a great experience it was, and they got great, coherent information and truthful information, and they raved about you guys. So thank you for taking care of them and getting that park open again.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. Glad to be of service.
Okay, C is transportation. Any updates?
I'm sorry. My mic was off. I also want to mention that I drove by the Ricketts a few times, and I did notice that the property is lit up very well. It looks really good at night. It's all lit up, looks very good. So I appreciate you keeping up on the lighting, the exterior lighting. Also, I don't know if anyone told you about a mold in the corner of the gymnasium. I wanted just you to be aware of that. You might already are, but I just wanted to just let you be aware that there is some mold in the corner of the gymnasium that might need to be looked at.
Okay, nothing more for transportation. How about ordinance review? Councilor Proskal, anything?
Well, typically it meets quarterly, but I believe staff had a small meeting to deal with the animal revisions.
Good. And efficient methods. Councilor Lebedinsky is not here to update us. To the best of my knowledge, there was no meeting this month. Under the board's emergency services reports, the chief had asked that we get a written report quarterly, and he would phone in if there's anything pertinent.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, so I'm not sure, I don't think Chief Hand is on the call yet. Last I'd spoken to him, he was at a fire on 4th Street, so I don't think he's going to make it tonight for
Okay.
the presentation.
Very good. Human relations, Ms. Levengood is not here. Okay, Ms. Penrod is not here. Library. Is Mrs. Hilton online?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Thank
Oh,
you.
great.
Good evening.
Something on the screen right there.
Yes, I'm here to tell you what's happening at the public library, and I have 4 different items. The first one is to just announce that our charity auction, which we had May 22nd, was very successful. We had lots of people. They seemed to have a good time. We raised over $7,000 for the library. Also to announce the library is now open with no appointment necessary unless you're getting a passport. Masks are still required. And the hours have changed from pre-pandemic. They're 1 hour shorter each day. So that means Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's 10 to 7, Thursday and Friday, 10 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 3. Curbside pickup is going to be continued 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 5. Also, our children's summer reading program starts June the 14th and will continue through August 14th. This year, it will be live with real people and real events instead of virtual. And registration is required, though, because attendance is limited. You would go to the website under coming events and scroll until you get to Tails and Tales, spelled Tails, Tales. Or you could also register in person at the library, just come in and do it that way. And finally, the Friends of the Library are planning a 3rd front door book sale this Saturday, July the 12th, from 10 to 2 o'clock, weather permitting, of course. The usual children's books, adult books, paperbacks, a lot of science fiction this time. Each book is just $1 each. And we've got a huge donation of beautiful games with all the pieces there, which we will also be selling along with puzzles. So we hope you'll stop in on Saturday. And that's what's happening at your public library.
Great, thank you.
I have a comment for the library. I had my passport done there. It was such a great experience.
Oh,
Have,
good.
have done there. It was the staff was very nice. It was very, very easy. I mean, they made it very easy. The whole process was very, very pleasurable. No problem filling out the forms, taking the picture, everything. Um,
Great.
and my passport came in a couple weeks in the mail. It was just perfect. So I highly suggest that if anybody needs a passport, absolutely get it done at the Pottstown Library. It's a very pleasant experience. It's very user friendly, and the staff is great.
Well, thank you so much. I will pass that on, Mr. Kirkland. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Joe, Ricketts Community Center, anything more to add?
Um, I know the summer programs are heating up, and I will have a detailed report for that on Monday.
Very good, thank you. Counselor Lindsay, how about the school? How is Harrisburg?
I'll save Harrisburg for the end. But Governor Wolf did come to the school. I'm not sure if you guys seen that. That was on Facebook. I seen the whole thing. It's nice that the school have it on Facebook, so that way you can see it. Also, Joe and Tim came. Also, Tim Hennessy and Joe Cerisi. They attended. Graduation was June 2nd, and that was also shown on Facebook. And let me tell you, these kids were, despite what they went through last year and this year and the funding issue that we have, these kids are awesome. They were so prideful. It was nice to see them walk across the stage, the parents, and I also like seeing the hats. They decorated their caps, so that was nice too. And on May 27th, the high school had a spring concert, so that was nice also too. You got to sit on the lawn and listen to them play. But that's it. That's all I have.
Okay, good. We have a presentation. Is McCluskey on?
Yes, she is. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Patricia McCluskey to present. She is the new Regional Recreation Coordinator for the Pottstown Area Regional Recreation Committee, and she's here to give a brief introduction. So take it away, Patricia.
Okay, great. Sorry, I had to dial in and then that didn't work. So I don't have a presentation. I'm just really here to introduce myself. I am the new Regional Parks Planner for the Pottstown Area Regional Recreation Committee. As was just stated, I took over for Michael Lane back in April. And I just wanted to introduce myself to council and let you know that I'll be continuing Michael's good work. And I will be working with Michael Lenhart to continue to improve the parks in the borough and to access additional funding for projects. I am working with Michael right now on the Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful grant application that he just mentioned earlier for the stream bank stabilization and bridge repair project in Riverfront Park. And I really look forward to working with the borough on its numerous parks. And I'm just glad to be here, and I thank you for your time.
Okay. Very good, thank you. We'll be talking with you. And how about Rob Laubenheimer? Is he on?
Yeah, so
Yes, I'm ready.
this time we'll introduce Rob. I think, as you know, the borough has, for a couple years now, has engaged with Boyertown Multi-Service to provide the programming and running of the Ricketts Center. So he's here tonight. They do have a lease renewal coming up, and he's here tonight to talk about a little bit what they have been able to accomplish in their short time and also what they would like to see for a lease renewal. So take it away, Rob.
Thank you so much. Counselors, thank you for your time tonight and allowing us to be here. In order to conserve time, I want to jump right into introductions. And I want you to please also note that a lot of what you see in the slides is also a reference tool for you later. And please feel free to reach out to us with any questions at any time. First, I'd like to introduce myself. For those who don't know me, my name is Rob Laubenheimer, and I am the Executive Director of the Boyertown Area Multi-Service. And with me is the Ricketts Center Director, Jocelyn Charles, as well as the Director of Development, Charles Berukowitz. And now we're going to jump right into the presentation. And I'm just going to bring it up. And we're going to turn it over to Jocelyn to start with programming.
Boyertown Multi-Service came in and took over the Ricketts Center in January of 2020. Programming for the current program began in the end of January, and we had a total of 6 weeks of programming before we had to close due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But in that 6 weeks, we were able to start the following programs. We had our Adult Fitness Center, our boot camp, after-school programming, Hill School tutoring, karate, soccer for success, a contemporary dance class, and a young mother support group. Next. We had several programs that were slated to start, but were paused due to the pandemic. We had a Mother Goose reading program, which was a interactive reading program for infants and toddlers and their parents during the daytime. We had a Soccer Bugs program that was to start on the weekends. That was also for toddlers ages 5 and under. We had a program with Community Health and Dental, where they'd have representatives come into the building to offer information as far as register community members for the services that they offer at their location at the Coventry Mall. And we were also slated to have our ribbon cutting ceremony. That would have been the official introduction of a multi-service into the Ricketts Center. Next. Even though we shut down, we wanted to continue to offer some kind of programming for the community. So through the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, we were able to provide breakfast and lunch to-go meals for those 18 and under within the community. Partway through this program, we were also able to get adult meals through the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. We offered these meals from March until the beginning of September. We also began to hand out family food bags of stable and shelf-stable foods. Bags were initially provided through multi-service, but then we were able to partner with the Pottstown cluster and be able to provide the bags through them. We started a pipeline system of those families that came into the Ricketts Center for our bags and connected them to the Pottstown cluster for them to be able to receive more full and complete groceries through them. Next. Now, programming that was able to start once we were to begin from September up until now, we have had our fitness center open 7 days a week. We offered a virtual school programming where students in the area were able to come to us to attend our virtual classes so parents could go to work. We had our karate program. We housed a Borough dance program this year. We have our Soccer for Success. We started our shower and laundry program for those in the area in need and continued with our family food bags. Next. Now, right now, our goal is to change the perception of the Ricketts Center for what it has been in previous years. In previous years, it's been focused mainly towards the youth in the area. The goal from here on out is to show that the Ricketts Center is once again for the community as a whole. So we want to be able to offer services and recreation for complete families and adults. So with this, we mean we still want to focus on the youth since they are a target area for us, but we also want to be able to have such things as designated nights for adults only to be able to come in and utilize the facilities, to be able to play basketball in the gym or use a recreation center without having little kids in the building. So, and also have different activities and programs for families in partnership with such things as community health and dental, social services, and the like. Next. Now, right now we are in our planning for summer. In previous years, there has been an all-day summer camp that was, only for a small group of children from ages 12 and under, and then the building was closed to the rest of the community. Right now what we're doing is starting a different program where we will still have organized programs for those younger age groups, but it will be only in the morning. And in the afternoon, we will open the building up to the rest of the community, specifically our middle school and high school age students that have generally been neglected during the summer. So the building will be open to them to be able to come in and take part in the gymnasium and in our game room. This also means that we will have certain designated nights, again, where adults will be able to come in and there'll be no children in the building. It'll be strictly adults and they have the use of the building. We also want to begin, again, having rentals and use of the buildings for such things as meetings, for parties, for community dinners, having different engagements and community engagements in the building itself. Next.
So I wanted to address just really quickly about staffing, and when we talk about having more robust programming in the future, and what we see happening in the future with the demand with the Ricketts Center is that we know that we're going to have to increase staffing at some point. And on the next slide, when we talk about projected costs for additional staff, the reason I wanted you to see this is as an example of when we come up with fundraising and grant projections and strategies, we factor everything in, including additional staff and other costs such as that.
Hi, everyone. This is Charles, the Development Director here at the Multi-Service. Just a quick overview of what the 2020 fundraising looked like here at the Ricketts Center. Obviously, COVID kind of altered our event planning, and Jocelyn had mentioned that ribbon cutting that had been canceled due to COVID. And we saw in that year as well, there was a plethora of grants to help keep organizations afloat, and that was certainly a huge asset. And part of the reason we were able to raise such a robust amount of money in 2020, despite all the challenges we faced. 2021, as we look into this year, we brought on a new development team, including myself and a new grant writer as well. So really excited to find new and build, strengthen our past and find new sources of revenue. And renew our push into in-person fundraising. We're starting to talk about our next phase of an in-person event sometime in the fall, assuming everything continues the way it has been. And really want to push and enhance our revenue streams from sponsorships with businesses in the region. So far to date, we've raised about $140,000 from grants and donations. Right now, we've put about 6 grants in our pipeline. We've got more coming through. And right now, we're looking for this year to match and maybe slightly exceed what we did last year. We're still seeing a lot of grant opportunities. We're trying to maximize those opportunities. And like I mentioned, try to re-engage the community in in-person fundraising, which we think could be a huge success once we get that started. And then for 2022 and beyond, we'll really want to start building that consistent and recurring revenue from fundraising events, from different partnerships with the community and sponsorships with regional businesses. That's going to be a huge goal. And we'll continue to up and alter and change and enhance our projections as we get more data and as we see how the community responds. And we feel really strongly that they're going to continue to stick with us and understand that this is going to be a community effort. And other sort of long-term prospects as well as long-term projects. And I think Jocelyn will talk about this in a moment, but just sort of enhancements to the building beyond just programming, funding, and just general funding. We want to make sure we're also keeping the building fresh and safe and, updating it as needed. I know there are some projects that Jocelyn will mention in a moment, but that'll be another sort of goal of our grants and fundraising. Next slide, Rob. This is just a sample list right now of the relationships we have working in the community. We're going to grow this list a lot in the next, 6-18 months. We're going to strengthen the relationships we've had, and we're really going to grow out this list to make sure everyone is taking a part and making sure that we're doing what we should do to help fundraise even more so than we have been. And this list is just a start. And just wanted to highlight some of the ones that have been so helpful and hopefully will continue to be so down the road. And Rob, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay. Jocelyn?
Yes, these are just the building improvements that we've had made. So in that first initial 3 months or 2.5 months before COVID hit, we had a painting of the entire building. We put in new lighting fixtures in the rooms throughout the building, waxed floors, put in new carpeting, put in new security doors with an intercom, updated the fire and alarm system, and put in a brand new building alarm. After COVID, we were still able to continue updates with new fencing around the playground area that was lower and safer, thanks to First Presbyterian Church. We put in security cameras on the basketball court. We had new and improved better lighting put inside the gymnasium. And we're also now currently working on the gymnasium floor that does have mold within the corner, but we're currently going through the process of the water infiltration issue that is around the back of the building, as well as fixing the damaged floor.
But don't worry, I'm not going to read all this to you. The reason I put this in is because I really thought it was appropriate to give a nod to how great the partnership has been with the Parks and Rec Department and the Boyertown Multi-Service. And if it wasn't for Michael and his team and Justin, all the support we've gotten from the borough, we would not have been able to get the things done that we were able to get done. And it also shows an example of collaborating with community stakeholders and what that looks like and what we can really get done when we partner together in the community. These goals are what we're focused on in 2021 and being able to build upon the success of last year to ensure our focuses are safety and bring the most popular programs back to the Ricketts now that COVID is over. One of our main priorities is outside, especially in regards to the basketball area, as well as to what Joe alluded to helping with the gym floor on the inside and cleaning that up. As you saw in the letter of intent, we had a rate increase request. I just wanted to let you know that that is exactly what it is. It's just a request. We're asking for this because we know a lot can happen in 3 years. And the bullet points below show how we're thinking when we're talking about a rate increase and understanding that the future is unpredictable and that we need to we want to be able to support the costs, not just with current programming, but also when we expand programming, including additional staffing. This could also include bringing in subject matter experts to help teach, whether it be adult or youth. It could be gardening. It could be a lot of different things that we can offer. We also want to make sure that we continue to add support for more property and building maintenance and improvements. We really believe that, with a 3-year lease extension, that we can get a lot done with the building and the outside, and the community can really, really be proud of it. We also were talking about, cover costs of inflation on building materials, programming resources, and COLA raises for staff, especially if we expand our staff. So again, the rate increase is a request, and we thank you for taking it into consideration. With the summary, I just want to conclude with that 2020 was a year that none of us were prepared for. And it's going to be it was hard to gauge the success or failure based on a year with a pandemic, because what we saw was more grant availability, but restricted programming, unusual giving practices from individuals that it's hard to gauge if that's going to withstand the test of time, and not being able to hold meetings or fundraisers in persons, and relying on services from other providers and agencies that saw their own restrictions. So they may have been also limited in what they could do for us in 2020. I am proud to say, thanks to Jocelyn, we were able to operate the Ricketts with no interruption in services during COVID-19. We are now able, after 1 year of operations, to strategically target areas of improvement and prioritize where our efforts should be focused in 2021 and beyond. Loss can be expected in any new business venture. However, for the Ricketts Center, there was not a loss. With strong leadership and a restructured development team headed by a strong director of development, we really believe we have not scratched the surface on what we can do and what the potential is in regards to campaign, business contributions, individual contributions, and regional contributions outside our coverage area. We really feel strongly that we can compete with Philadelphia for Philadelphia money and any money that is in the suburbs of Philadelphia, including in Montgomery County. In conclusion, I want to thank everyone who made a trying year one that still showed we can get things done. Our community and our community partners, the borough, made everything we accomplished possible. From the Parks and Rec Department, the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness, the Hobart's Run, to Monco Strong, and countless others, we were able to get things done while also learning a great deal about this wonderful community we get to serve. I also want to send a special thanks to the Ricketts Advisory Committee, because without their guidance, this would not have been possible. Thank you, and thank you for letting us have our presentation tonight.
Thank you. It's
Thank you very much.
now time for Mayor Hendrick, your report.
So May was pretty busy and an in-person month. We had our public defenders clinic, which got a really positive response from our community. I hope we can have it again soon. I have a ton of information. Here is CDM law. If you have any cannabis legal issues or need information on compliance, please call 610-994-0281. I also have information on pardon coaches and advocates and legal aid and domestic violence hotlines. So please reach out if you need any of that information. We had our Police Officers Association Fishing Derby. That was the first time I've attended. It looks like the kids had a really good time. I want to thank everyone who volunteered and all our officers who were there and stocking the river with tons of fish before the kids came. We had our primary election. I want to thank all the poll workers and the volunteers for a extremely long day, toughing it out, making it safe for everyone, not just COVID safe, but also securing our votes. So I really appreciate it. And it seemed like there was a really good turnout. So thanks for coming out on an off year. I've been taking some classes on the use of force and de-escalation procedures just in general for municipal police departments. And I'm happy to announce that the Pottstown Police Department has partnered with the State Police Heritage Affairs Unit to provide additional de-escalation and cultural sensitivity and cultural history training. We had our community leaders breakfast meeting. I was happy to hear that the Fellowship Farm on Sanatoga Road has been purchased and they're going to be putting in some sort of community gathering center there. Our Montgomery County Climate Action Plan Steering Committee met. We are working on a realistic plan to reduce emissions by 2050 by 100%. We have to, unfortunately. There's really no getting around it. So we're putting together models of steps that we can take and what that looks like to reduce emissions. Chief Mick and I are looking at hybrid police cruisers, possibly to start, try one in 2022. And Rivet, again, Peggy Lee Clark mentioned Rivet's grand opening. It's amazing, just go. If you haven't been, also go over to the Stave and Stable. I got a private tour, because I haven't been out for like a year and a half. So it was my first time over there, and I have to say, Hiram and the guys did a phenomenal job. Just the decor, everything, the way that they have outfitted the space, it's beautiful. So go, Rivet and Stave and Stable. We had our Rock the Block. It was a small turnout, but it was pretty productive. A lot of our community gardens got attention. Peggy said we had the car show. That was my first time out, again, in like a year and a half. And it was really nice to see everyone and see how respectful everyone was. And it's pretty awesome that you can come down to Pottstown and walk from the alley and then go to the pub and then go play pool at the billiards place and then walk over to Rivet and hear some live music and stay out on the streets until like 1:30 in the morning and hang out with your friends. And it was just a wonderful, beautiful night in Pottstown. I would like to see a little more hand sanitizer if we can in some of the businesses. Again, I know restrictions are lifting, but that's not an open welcome for handshakes and hugs. So I don't think we're ready for handshakes and hugs. If we can try to minimize that contact, be respectful of personal space, I would appreciate it. I judged the inaugural Knights of Columbus Cornhole Tournament on Sunday. Really, really hot. Thankfully, I didn't have to play. It looked really hard. My team lost. Check out Knights of Columbus. It's a service organization on Constitutional Road in Stowe. One of the things that they support in town is Operation Backpack, which is very near and dear to my heart. We also had the fundraiser for Go Forth at the Iron Gate Beer Garden. You go to their Facebook page, they're having some live auctions. Auction items still available. And we had our first in-person meeting for Pottstown Community Action on Monday at the Walnut Street Garden, the permaculture garden, which that was like my first time there. And I had no idea that it was what a permaculture garden was. Basically, it's a self-sustaining garden. You plant items that will come back year after year. We have plums and peaches and cherry trees and asparagus and apples and nectarines. I mean, it was pretty amazing. So Lisa and I got to taste some cherries off the cherry trees in Walnut Street Park. Coming up, I guess weather permitting, on 6/12 is the Pottstown Farmers Market, Smith Family Plaza from 9 to 1. We are also having on June 19th, which is Juneteenth, from 11 to 5 at Memorial Park is the inaugural Community Day hosted by Troy Rivera. There's going to be music, games, food, and a moon bounce. So come on out. And then on Monday, June 21st at the Pottstown Middle School, join us for the PA Fair Funding Rally from 12:30 to 1:30 to support Governor Wolf's proposed budget, which includes 100% fair funding for PA schools. So I just want to repeat that. Governor Wolf's proposed budget includes 100% of fair funding for PA schools, which is amazing. This is going to be an event that's held in Pottstown, Philadelphia, Allentown, and Lancaster. It's just an hour, so come out and show your support if you can. On the 21st of June is the Mosaic Community Land Trust's 3rd annual Summer Solstice Garden Party at 3500 Coventry Road from 6 to 9. We also have June 25th through the 27th is the Pottstown Rumble at Memorial Park. And if you can save the dates, it looks like we will be able to have our National Night Out on August 3rd at Chestnut and Washington Streets. I have just a couple announcements. I'd like to congratulate Officer Zach Robinson for being voted Pottstown Police Officer of the Year for 2020. Zach, thank you for your hard work and dedication. I promise we'll do something more formal and in person next month. And I'd also like to congratulate my assistant and friend, Linda, who purchased her first house in the Borough of Pottstown, and she will be a resident just in time for our Go Forth Festival. So I'm pretty excited. And last but not least is our police card trading program. I know a lot of people have told me that they have wanted to participate and they made donations, but according to our ledger, I don't have as many donations as businesses who wanted to participate. So if you are still interested, the trading cards are being printed. Otherwise, I have to pay out of pocket. So please contact me and let me know, and I'll send you the link so you can pay online and get your information up on our webpage. And that concludes my report. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Keller, what's up with the borough manager?
All right, well, I was going to give a half-hour report, but in the essence of time, I'm gonna keep it short. So we are working on a couple projects. We're working on a template for a standard mural maintenance agreement that staff would administer and approve, so alleviating the need for each mural agreement to come before council. So the basic framework of the agreement would clarify the responsibility of the property owner for maintenance, and also look to clarify that an escrow will be needed in order to cover the costs in the event that the property owner is unresponsive and the borough has to come in and paint over the mural because it's not being maintained properly. The agreement will also ensure that there is a restriction or a note on the deed, placed on the deeds to let future property owners know that the property does have a mural that they are responsible for. We did also meet with the county. They are planning on extending the Schuylkill River Trail to the 422 bridge at Arm and Hammer Boulevard in 2022. So we're working with them on emergency access. We did get another grant in from CDBG. We got $200,000 for stormwater improvements. So we're going to be installing more stormwater inlets along roadways in the borough, particularly areas where we have high concentration of sump pumps that are pumping out onto the street. We also got a blight grant in the amount of $28,000 that will be used to stabilize the exterior of 707 Hamilton Street. On the authority side, they've been very busy. We are going to get restarted with water shutoffs. So those that are behind on payments, you'll have 90 days to bring your account current in order to avoid delinquency and possible water shutoff. Also, the authority is contemplating a special meeting on Monday night to entertain a proposal from Aqua, Pennsylvania for an emergency water interconnect on Farmington Avenue. So we'll be working through the details of that later this week. Also, they're going to be commencing their water and sewer main replacement project. They have an intent to award with JAO Bradley. Work is expected to begin in late July or August and will cover portions of Cherry Street, Henry Street, and Spruce Street. On the personnel side, we did have 2 open supervisor positions that were filled in the borough garage with internal candidates. And lastly, I'm also happy to announce that the search committee has unanimously selected Marley Boone to serve as the next finance director for the borough of Pottstown. So Marley has served with the borough for 8 years as the former accounts administrator and the past several months as the interim finance director. Her promotion to finance director was put into effect on June 7th. So welcome, Marley, to the executive team. And that's it.
You have another 15 minutes.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. We need a resolution to appoint a treasurer.
Yes, so the borough typically appoints the finance director for this position, so we would recommend Marley Boone for that appointment.
Okay, we'll put that on for Monday evening. Telecommunications policy.
I'm going to let Matt take that one.
Okay,
I'll
Matt?
take that one. Justin asked me to take this one, add some clarification because there was some confusion as far as the proposed policy and how it ties in with Act 15. A little bit of history to try to clear it up. Prior to the pandemic, the Borough Code actually did allow for a portion of the board to participate virtually. Under the Borough Code, if at least 4 counselors were present, they could authorize someone to participate by telephone. And the policy that is part of the packet tonight, a lot of it mirrors what's in the Borough Code and is for planning when Act 15 ends. So the pandemic hit, and at that time, the legislator passed Act 15, which eliminated basically the requirement that a majority had to be present, and now all 7 counselors and the mayor could participate virtually. The issue, though, is that Act 15 is specifically tied to Governor Wolf's declaration. During the primary election, Pennsylvania passed the 2 amendments to the Constitution, which effectively limit that emergency declaration. We've been trying to monitor the status of that. It's my understanding that the House yesterday passed, along party lines, a bill which would effectively end the governor's declaration immediately, and that's now with the Senate, and it's not clear how the Senate's going to address that. Why that's important, because if, let's say, tomorrow the Senate adopts it as the House prepared it, Act 15 could essentially come to an end tomorrow, and we revert back to what's in the Borough Code for Monday's meeting. So we were trying to get ahead of that and have this policy prepared in the event that it's needed, so that there's structure moving forward in the event that council has an interest in allowing some counselors on an as-needed basis to participate remotely. So this is what Act 15 right now is still in place, but this policy is sort of planning ahead for when Act 15 concludes.
Okay, and we can act on that Monday?
Yes.
Okay, we'll list that.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
So this will be in place going forward. So in the event next year I'm in Texas and a meeting is going on, I can go on Zoom and be in the meeting.
Correct. Yeah, if as long as 4 counselors are here in that situation, you would be able to do that.
Okay, that's what I was. Okay, that's it.
So can I ask a question about that specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Why is that requirement needed?
In terms of adopting the policy,
Why would there have to be a quorum in person in order to conduct the meeting?
yeah,
If there's a quorum in total.
I don't know the rationale behind it. That's just what they put into the Borough Code. You know, I guess the policy standpoint is favoring in-person meetings, and also at the time that portion of the Borough Code was written, things like Zoom and GoToMeeting, I'm sure, had not even been developed or contemplated yet. So when that was passed, it was probably just trying to adapt to the times and create an exception. But beyond that, I'm not really sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Police Department grants. Want to do them one at a time or
Yeah,
all at once?
yeah, that's fine. Before I do that, Michael Paulus did have a question, so I just unmuted you if you want to go.
We'll see.
Hey, Justin, this is for your report. What happened to him?
What?
Hello?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, that's a personnel matter, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that offline.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's all I had, bud. That's
Okay,
all I
all
had.
right.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, get in touch with me after.
Okay.
All right, so
Police grants.
we do have several grants for the police. They are listed on the agenda. We would like to apply again for the cops hiring program to hire 3 officers in the next 5 years. These would not really be new positions. These would be to replace officers that either have retired or have otherwise left the department for various reasons. So we would still maintain our total number at 47 officers. The other ones are for violence prevention, also violence intervention and street outreach, a micro grant program for youth engagement as well. And again, the first one was for the install of surveillance cameras in additional areas.
Okay. And we'll list those for approving Monday evening. 15 is a resolution for the emergency operations plan.
Yes, so every 2 years, we're required to update our emergency operations plan. So we did go over it with Chief Hand, and he was satisfied with the update. Mainly, the update involved changes to names, and things of that nature. Some of the businesses which update their emergency operation plans, we incorporate those into our plan as well. So we're looking for approval of that per the PA Emergency Management Code.
Okay, and we'll list that for Monday. 16 is the beer garden at Smith Family Plaza for Grove Fourth.
Correct. So this is looking to be held in conjunction with the street fair, which is happening on High Street between Charlotte and York Streets. They would like to have the beer garden set up in Smith Family Plaza, and it would be open from 1 to 5 p.m. The consumption area would be limited to the area of Smith Family Plaza, and they would have monitors placed at the entrance to ensure that alcoholic beverages do not travel beyond the confines of the area. Since this is in a federally funded park, we have submitted this request to the FTA for approval, but assuming we don't get that back by Monday night, council would have to predicate their approval based on FTA approval.
Okay, and we'll list it that way on Monday. 17, Sly Fox. They have improvement plans.
Yeah, so I understand the applicant and their engineer are with us here tonight, and thanks for bearing with us here. It usually isn't this long, but they did have a revised plan, and they also are seeking zoning relief for the location, size, and height of a modified storage container to serve as an auxiliary tasting room. And so one part of that is the zoning request. Because of that change, it also triggered some other changes on the plan, which effectively reduced the area of disturbance for the project overall. And we are recommending that part of the plan go back to the Planning Commission. But what is new and what we're asking council to look at is to either recommend zoning approval, denial, or simply provide no recommendation to the zoning hearing board for the cabana structure. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that, John.
What we are proposing had already been approved for development. What we changed was we changed the building that was going to be larger to something that was smaller. So it seems odd, quite frankly, that we're having to go through the process again since we actually made the building smaller than it was already approved. And interestingly, it seems like if it was a zoning issue, would have kicked in then, not now. But
Well, we'll list them for action for Monday evening. We're going to we'll act on it Monday evening. Okay, 18 is the All City Management Services for our crossing guards.
Yes, so if you recall, the previous two renewals for our crossing guards, we were able to hold them steady at the rate of $31.91. So we had no increase for 2 years. What they would like now is a 3-year contract that would hold the current rate of $31.91 for the 2021-2022 school year, and then increase the rate to $33.29 for the 22-23 year, and then hold that rate steady for 22 and 23. For 23 and 24. So 3-year contract. They're asking for a 4.2% increase in year 2. Sounds like a lot, but because they're not asking for an increase on year 1 or year 3, if you average it out, it's a 1.4% increase per year. And the school district is in approval of this agreement.
Very good.
We have the signed agreement.
All right,
Yep.
we'll list that one. Airport consultants, we got some quotes.
Correct, yeah. Per the BOA, we're required to go out to bid every 5 years for our airport engineering services. We only received 2 proposals, one from Delta and one from HRG, who's also the authorities engineer. And we did provide the ranking on the agenda and are recommending that we stay with our existing engineer, Delta.
All right. And list that for Monday. Pottstown Rumble, want fireworks.
Yes, they like to do fireworks to kick off their opening ceremonies on June 25th. So Chief Hand had looked at it and approved of their plans there, and we're recommending that for approval.
Very good. We'll list it for Monday. Parks and Rec. They have 2 events, right? The Funky Santa Run, summer and winter.
Correct. One on July 25th, and then another one on December 5th. The one on the 25th is from 8 to 10. Both are on College Drive from Hanover to High and along Keystone Boulevard. The one on December 5th is from 9 to 10:30.
Okay, we'll approve those Monday evening. 23, Laura Johnson wants to have a block party on Belmont Street.
Yep, August 14th with a rain date on August 15th, 3 to 9 p.m. It would be on Belmont Street from Reynolds to 8th Street.
Okay, and we'll list that as well. Now, have we any comments from citizens that are present?
All right, so at this time, if we have any callers on the line that would like to make a comment, please unmute yourself and we'll take down your name.
Can I talk now, my friend?
I'll add you to the list, Tom,
Thank you, sir.
and we'll come back to you, all right?
Yeah.
All right, do not have any chat requests. And we're gonna start with the in-person attendees first, so Philip Thies, please, you have 3 minutes. Philip Thies. If you could please come up to the microphone so everybody can hear you. Thank you.
First of all, it's a good thing that to have a public meeting again. Very glad. I can't often come, but this time of the year I can. First of all, we'd like to talk about traffic conditions at High and Evans Street. Since we've put in this new light system, it is a joke to try to go from the south end across High Street or go to the right or to the left. I mean, you can't make a right turn on red. I would like to see the number of accidents that took place there when we had right turn on red. I never heard of any because there was plenty of view to the left looking west on High Street there. And you cannot make a right turn on red now. They have this sign they put up, no turn on red. And there's another thing that's come to my mind as I was sitting there. You know, we have these car shows and other events. And sometimes we have wonderful people at that intersection that when there's nobody there, you can get across the street with your vehicle when the light's red, because there's no traffic on High Street. And other times they make you wait for no reason at all. That should not happen there or any other intersection. It's hard enough to get around in this town with all the one-way streets we have, and I live on South Evans Street. I can't go down, I must go up. And next, I'd like to point out that we should consider in this community if we had the week before the 4th of July designated as clean up the streets by all the residents. I know I try every year to clean up my block. I cut the hedges in my front and I make it look nice for the 4th of July, for when all the people are coming. It would be a great thing, and what's more, it would increase property values if this town were really clean. There's another thing I'd like to point out about, I heard this evening about these hybrid cars for the police department. Please look into what the insurance costs are going to be for the taxpayer when repairing those cars when they have an accident or some minor thing. You'll find information on the internet of people telling you about what's happened to them with their electric and hybrid cars. It's very enlightening and very expensive, and the insurance companies are not going to like it. And a last thing, we should, if we get grants here in the community, and we have a lot of trees, it would be really great if we sought a grant to buy a street sweeper or a street vacuum like we had when I was a boy that vacuumed up the leaves. And that's about all I have to say. And it's good to see you here. And the reason we need a quorum in a public meeting is because our founders wanted the government where the people could see them and talk to them. I have no computer, and I have no cable TV. Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you. All right, William Bruns. You would not like to comment?
I only signed in that I was here.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, Thomas Winterbottom, go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you, my friend. It's about the fireworks. Last year we had a problem with that, if you remember, and it was kind of a scary experience. Lisa talked, Miss Vanny talked about that, right? So, is there anything that the borough can is going to do about that, or to prevent that from happening again? Especially on High Street out into the clock here. It's a lot of noise. It's a pretty scary experience. So I don't know what you guys have planned to, prevent that, or if you can do anything or whatever. But that's my comment, sir. Justin.
Thank you, Mr. Winterbottom. That concludes public comment.
Okay. And how about counselors? Anything to discuss? Trinita?
Let me just tell you guys, it's cold. I forgot how cold it gets in here. I need to bring me a sweater. Whew, I'm freezing. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys followed me on Facebook, but so Laura Johnson messaged me Monday night and said, "What are you doing Tuesday?" And I said, "What time?" She said, "In the morning." I said, "Nothing." She said, "Well, come on down to Harrisburg at around 10 o'clock, because Governor Wolf is having a press conference about fair funding." I said, "I'm on my way. I'll meet you there at 10 o'clock. So I got there a little late, but due to traffic. But Governor Wolf had a fair funding press conference, and this is to try to get $13 million additional funding a year for our schools that are underfunded in Pennsylvania. And you guys know I've been fighting this fight even before I became a councilwoman. And the fight is not ending. So if you can, go on to Advocates for Pottstown Schools, the Facebook page, and contact your senator, Senator Minch, and also contact Representative Hennessy, and let them know your concerns also about fair funding, and let them know that our kids need this money. Also, as the mayor stated, June 21st at 12:30, come to the middle school. We'll be having a rally there. And tomorrow, Joe Cerisi and some of his colleagues will be talking at Perkin Valley High School at 3:30, and they're going to be hosting the fair funding rally there also. So that's it for my fair funding. I went to the charity auction and seen my chair, and there were plenty of food there, and it was really nice. It was at the carousel. It was really nice. I didn't stay. My chair was at the end, and I had to go to another event. But I did get a nice email regarding from Ms. Hilton regarding my chair. I also want to chime in with Joe's talking about the passport. I took a friend down to the library for the passport, and he's right. It was smooth. They got his picture. He got his passport back. But let me tell you, if you do use the bathroom in the library, be sure you're gonna do a lot. They're gonna make sure you spray, you gotta clean, you gotta disinfect before and after you leave. So just so you know. And the rickets, I want to chime in on the rickets. You guys remember that when we voted for the rickets and how the different organizations came in, and I wanted it to stay in-house with Parks and Rec. And you guys voted for multi-service. And I was upset because I wanted to just stay with Parks and Rec. But let me tell you, Jocelyn is doing a fantastic job with the Ricketts. I'm on the board. She keeps us informed. She keeps us up to date. Rob always want to know what can he do in Pottstown. I'm just going to let you know that the decision that we made to have the multi-service there was a good decision, and they're awesome. When I'm with women in NAACP, and they go in and do the showers and for the homeless. I'm just letting you know they do a good job. Good job there. I have a question. Someone asked me about the Leadership Academy class? Is that coming back up? So I just thought maybe I asked that. Leadership Academy.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
coming.
I believe so, yeah. The Borough Leadership Academy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
I'd have to check with
Just checking the
Courtney, but I don't see any reason why we wouldn't run it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. Okay. And that's it for me.
Great, thank you. Counselor Ryan?
Actually, the hybrid meeting went a lot smoother than I thought it would. I could, clearly see everybody and hear them. I guess largely due, in fact, to our new audiovisual equipment that we have. I believe is compliments of Comcast.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. You don't have to, roll up the projector screen anymore either.
I know. And
Great.
crawl under.
The counselors on the ends appreciate that.
I know.
Okay, all right, who do we have there? Lisa, any comments?
Not tonight.
Okay, Joe? Anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to also thank all the volunteers who helped during the voting. That was, it was a nice day out there. I couldn't stay all day because I had health issues, but I just want to thank all the volunteers who was out there, all day in the sun. It was great.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Henrik, any comments?
I do, and I'm proxy for Michael Pauls tonight, so I would like to make a comment for him as well.
See more.
Just real quick, for the ordinance committee, you don't have to answer now. I was just wondering if there was any movement on the pilot program. People are asking in the borough. And secondly, Michael Pauls texted me. He would like for the next committee of the whole meeting for us to recognize a 4-year-old in his ward named Maxton Bacon, who on June 5th, on his own accord, decided to have a cookout for all the first responders in Pottstown. So Michael Pauls would like to recognize him next month, and maybe we can also do a little presentation and make him honorary first responder. So thank you, and thank you for all you do.
Great. Mike, are you with us? I can't see.
He texted me and he didn't have any additional comments tonight.
Okay. Oh, I guess we got everybody. I really don't have much to add. I was at the last car show, and they keep getting better. They really do. And I think people were very conscientious about staying socially distanced apart. All the comments I got from those outside of town who attended, they're overwhelmed in how much better Pottstown is than it had been. So with that, I have nothing more to add. Meeting adjourned.